I don't know what the hell line or thing to use. There's a character Wendell. I can't remember the line. It's Wendell do this, Wendell do that. I do. I can't remember the specific dialogue. Welcome, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by. I recently did a VHS showcasing of the original North American VHS for this title, and it actually made me want to revisit the movie. And knowing that it was free on TubiTV.com, I actually gave it a rewatch, and oh my god, it's so funny how your perceptions can change from a teenager into adulthood. I blind bought this movie, or my history. Well, first off, I'm coming at you to review the film from, I think it came out in 1989 and possibly released on home video in 1990 by the name of Nightwish. And my history with this movie is sometime in the early 90s, there was this mom and pop video store. They had so many great obscure titles, and I'm pretty sure I blind bought this from that video store. I also am pretty sure I saw a trailer for this first on another Vidmark Entertainment VHS, because I can remember the trailer and the shot of Clayton Rohner, saying "don't open it" or whatever, and the thing going like that and the floor and stuff. So I'm pretty sure I saw a trailer first, and then I just blind bought this. And my recollection was, I more or less kind of liked this as a teenager and watched it a couple times, three, 2, 3, 4 times as a teenager. But I revisited this years ago on Prime, the new HD scan, and I wasn't impressed, because for a while it was in my cart forever, the Blu-ray, and I'm just so glad I didn't get the Blu-ray, because watching it again, oh brother, I mean, there's like pretty much nothing here unless, you're a fan of Clayton Rohner, and I am, but even, he's like top billing in this movie, the guy from the original April Fool's Day, and I'm Madman, and probably other movies I'm not aware of, but he's top billing, and it's funny because he's really not, you wouldn't really know it just watching the movie. It also has Friday the 13th Part 7 Babe Elizabeth. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Catan or whatever. Of course, she does the little bit of toplessness in this movie, which is always appreciated, and she's featured in the whole movie with, short shorts, and so she's pretty hot and fun to look at and stuff. Her top could have been a little more sexy, in my opinion, but whatever. If you're a Brian Thompson fan, there's a little bit of Brian Thompson in this movie, just playing a buff macho asshole guy. And whoever plays Wendell, I'm pretty sure I've seen him in other things. He's fun as Wendell, and honestly, probably the most entertaining character. Interesting character might very well be Wendell in this movie. So this movie, I'm not going to spoil it. It's easier. Back in the day, years ago, I used to just do crazy in-depth reviews and spoil everything. And my thought is now, maybe there's probably a lot of people that haven't seen these movies and stuff, so why spoil it, and then the review's shorter and win-win and stuff. But this movie is just basically about, I don't even know what it's about. This group of students are studying paranormal stuff, and I can't even remember what the hell their freaking main goal is. I mean, I just watched this less than a week ago. There's also this one guy, I'm sure he's been in a lot of stuff. He's well cast in this movie as like the professor, and he's kind of a shady guy. Who the hell knows what's going on with him? I mean, I do like that character in this movie, and there's a lot to kind of like, but I just feel like the script and the direction, I don't know, it just could have used a lot of polish and stuff. And this is, if you watch my VHS showcasing video, this is basically comes in an unrated version. And rewatching it, it's just like, I don't know these days it wouldn't be no unrated. I mean, it's just, I don't know if they just did that as like a marketing gimmick to try to get more sales and rentals and stuff, because I'm not too sure, it was gory enough where it needed to be unrated. But basically, even though I just watched this or rewatched this within the last week, I can't even really even tell. It's a mind wipe movie, and all I know is that, these group of college students or whatever that are, they're doing experiments in this kind of, the sensory deprivation tanks, of the like you see in the movie Altered States, and also that one little known show by the name of Stranger Things, where you're in I don't know why water is always involved, but regardless, they're in water, and it's quiet and dark, and they want to get into all kinds of mental this and that, and have visions and stuff. Like I say, it's funny because Oh, okay. Well, the way the movie ends up turning out, I guess it does. Okay. So I'm not going to spoil. The one thing I will say about this movie is it's funny how, I guess I'll simply say without spoiling it, that it's not only got one of the cast members from the original April Fool's Day, but in a lot of ways the movie has a couple similarities to the original April Fool's Day, and I guess that's all I'll say. And that's, probably my biggest thing I like about this movie is, I guess, how it ends without spoiling too much and stuff. I do appreciate that, but I just, you got to have more than just some kind of a surprise ending to be a good movie. And so the premise is these group of whatever college kids that are studying whatever, they're experimenting with whatever I said earlier, sensory deprivation and stuff. For whatever reason, they go off to this location and try to conjure up spirits, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, I guess I could have took notes. I mean, I shouldn't have to. I used to do that when I was all crazy into detail and all these this and that and beat by beat reviews. I got so sick of that. But I guess that'll be my review. I mean, the way I look at it is you shouldn't have to take notes. Like, it should be interesting enough where it leaves an impression on you, where you're gonna just remember what it's about. If the movie doesn't pound home what it's about without having to like take notes, then in my opinion it's not good enough to remember what it's about, because you should be able to remember what it's about. But anyway, they go off to just whatever this. I don't know if it's supposed to be this area that's high in whatever spiritual phenomena. But I mean, like I say, if you think about how the movie ends, the whole thing about what happens during the movie is almost pointless because of how it ends. And boy, you're really going to want to go watch it now based on my review. But I don't know. I guess that'll pretty much do it. What are the pluses about this movie? Clayton Rohner. But I mean, he has a tendency to, as is demonstrated in like April Fool's Day, he was like perfectly cast in April Fool's Day. And I don't know. I think that that's where he really shines. If he's a goofy character, I think that him as an actor maybe is leaning more towards that kind of just a performance naturally. And whenever he's cast in a movie like I'm Madman, where he's just like kind of a boring, young cop boyfriend, or this movie where he's really not that interesting of a character, I feel like it's a waste of what he can really do. I think he really shines in April Fool's Day. So it's kind of a bummer to see him in a more or less kind of boring, and he's like top billed boring role. And honestly, the stuff that stands out in this movie are like Wendell, the character of Wendell, and Brian Thompson just driving down the desert highway, just going, he's by himself, and he's just laughing, probably that he's so cool, and he's gonna have sex with this one chick or whatever that he thinks he's gonna have sex with or whatever, but I don't think he ever does. I don't know if he's ever done her yet or if he wants to, but I don't think he ever ends up doing her or whatever. But yeah, just those are the highlights, like Wendell and Brian Thompson running over bunny rabbits, and the highway's mine, and just the stereotypical just muscle man asshole jerkwad kind of character. And yeah, I feel like the writing and the direction leaves a lot to be desired. If you're a fan of like, it's kind of fun, especially in colder weather in Minnesota, to see California, presumably California landscapes and stuff. One thing that I do want to talk about, or not forget to mention, is something I dislike in these kind of desert movies, and I don't know if it's featured in like Tremors, but a lot of movies in the 90s, I think, did it, where it's like, and I think it's a Southwest kind of a thing, that, I don't know, I'm sure there's a term for what it is, but that sound whenever there's like a Southwest, movie that takes place in the Southwest, how it's that kind of music, the Southwest desert music. I hate that shit. It's kind of like saxophone. I hate saxophone. I guess there's certain ways saxophone can be used where I don't hate it, but I don't like that desert, twang kind of, I would imagine it's in Tremors as well, but yeah, I hate that shit. Anyway, so this review went on longer than intended. I expected it to be maybe 5 minutes long or whatever, but you know me, once you get me blabbing, I don't really stop. But my star rating for Nightwish, oh my god, 1 star out of 4 stars. That's just for like Elizabeth Catan topless, Brian Thompson funny, Wendell funny. Clayton Roner might as well not even be in the movie because I don't know. It's good to see him, I guess, but as the movie wore on, you're just kind of like this, like this, like holy shit, when's something gonna happen? I mean, I'm familiar enough with this movie to like know that I don't know what's gonna happen, but nothing really does happen. And another thing, in a funny note, and I would imagine it's this way on the Blu-ray as well, and I was correct. I remember watching it on Prime, the HD version, and like a couple times having this memory that there was a couple times at the end of reels and during reel changes where it went to black and you'd see all, in some cases, just the frames of film stuff before counting down to the next beginning of the next reel. It happens at least twice, in the HD version of this movie. Really sloppy editing, like they completely forgot to edit that stuff out when they did this. So if you want to see that and laugh, there's at least 2 times it's kind of towards the middle/end of the movie where when reel changes happen, it goes completely black and you see film stuff or whatever and it starts up again. So that's really, really sloppy. And as I said, I would imagine that's what's on the Blu-ray. So that's kind of funny. So yeah, Nightwish, at least at the time of me watching it and sometime around the publishing of this review, should be available on TubiTV.com for free if you want to watch it. And stop back here in the comments and let me know what you thought of it. Perhaps you've already seen it. Let me know what you thought of it if you want. But yeah, I had the Blu-ray in my cart for months, in the years past, and I'm just so glad I didn't buy this for like $20 because this is a real stinker in my opinion. So I guess that pretty much does it. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thanks a lot for watching. And as always, we'll catch you on the next video.